Is it gonna work? Perfecto. Okay. I'm actually thinking, well, right, hold on. I'm gonna get a more static background on so it's not so distracting. Right. Okay. So this is a lap. Righty how. Oh goodness. This is going to be one of my biggest coaching challenges yet. How do I coach someone who's within zero point 0.2 seconds of my lap? Right. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Interesting. I've noticed you don't really do a fast fall like at the exit in the cannon. That's one thing I would suggest. That's a nice aggressive, nice aggressive big drop though. Okay, I can kinda see a bit here. A little bit, not much. Not much admittedly. Um, so, like, it's gonna be nitpicky because it has to be. Like, you could probably get a little bit of a fast fall out here. You might have noticed me doing it when I exit the cannon. It's definitely, it'll probably get you a fraction of time, and that's what you're looking for, really. I do like this fast drop. That's nice and aggressive. Riskier, but if you pull it off, it saves heaps of time. And then I'm still not 100% sure what's the fastest way to do this one, but there's no point changing it. Stick to it. Like, I don't hop around there. I just go for like sort of spreading my MTs out more. It just seems to work for me. Actually, one thing I've not been doing that you can do is if you time it right. I don't know if anyone's got a video of it, but see if you can like actually hop slightly to the left at about this point and then hop into the cannon. You can actually gain a slight amount of time there. If I like start playing a bit more seriously, I'll probably start doing it. But there's a secret time save there. I think it's hop left somewhere about here. If you do it right, it is actually a free time save almost. Not quite free, but yeah, it's there. So I wouldn't have changed how you do this part at all. Much, really. Yeah, this is all good. So maybe one thing to watch is this part. I think, yeah, it's like it's okay, but I think again this is nitpicky. Maybe watching your angles a little bit so that you're maybe slightly more aggressively turned going into here. It's quite tricky, but if you could manage it, you could be a bit less further over this line here. And then because you're not quite angled as far left here, you are going a little bit further out. You can get this a little bit more aggressive. Like, it's hard to do, but if you really push for it, really push a bit harder here, you can sort of get this last MT out either a bit earlier or with a bit of a better angle, and you'll have a bit more speed going this way. You might save a couple of cart lengths, not a lot, but alright, Chief. He's back. The Chief prick. But yeah, that's another nitpicky thing, but really sort of try and see if you can aggressively attack this as much as you can. And I think this is okay landing, to be fair, but I reckon if you had that slight improvement here, you could hop a bit earlier, and then you could probably get an MT a bit earlier. So that maybe does have a slight knock-on effect. We're talking fractions. So bumper section, pretty decent. Maybe a little bit nitpicky, like, no, I don't know if I can really, no. Maybe if possible, if you get your landing just right, you can be a little bit straighter here, like less changing angles, if that makes sense. But the bumper section's pretty good. Um, I don't know. Like, I think in my personal experience, if you're fast enough, you don't need to do the snake and strat if you stream lap one. But yeah, let's just have a look at it with a bit more, just unpausing. Yeah, I just do feel like you were a bit slow to the first one, but the way you take the do bumpers is fine. I just think, whoops, because your angles may be a bit funny with this MT. You're kind of a bit too much going this way rather than sort of going that way, and you're not maybe absolutely great approaching the bumper, but the way you like use it and continue from it is fine. So yeah, not too much to worry about there. Maybe I'm not 100% sure if it's worth being as far over as that at this point or not. It might work, but like if you see how I do it, I'm often maybe a bit wider to start with, but I'm like really aggressive here. Like, to be fair, you're not far off, but I've noticed you did use a bit of handling or a bit of steering. I think I do get a slightly better angle if I'm just slightly like more here-ish approaching. You know, just starting wide to go tight type thing. But it's not much. And it might stop you from having to use that little bit of steering, which again is a time save. So, yeah. Otherwise, obviously a very solid lap, so nitpicky as anything. Is there any other parts in particular you're thinking, oh gosh, I'd love to have advice on that? Or you thinking, I know all the shortcuts to all the right places, Chief? Yeah, it's such small improvements, you know. Like some of these you'd possibly do better on just your next attempt anyway, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't think there's much to say with the 270. Let's just have a look at it without pausing it.
Yahoo!
Oh, thank you, Polish, for the follow. I would be struggling to criticise that, to be honest. Other than going to virtually Taz level, which is literally meaningless. As far as the shroom's concerned, I would be very happy with a 270 like that, to be quite honest. So, if you did what you did there, you're fine, honestly. So, I think most of the stuff you probably can get on a decent lap already anyway. It's just that, you know, from attempt to attempt, things just don't always work out. So, um, to be fair, bath time, I have had, aside from the one Pokemon Diamond stream I did in December or November, I've not streamed much at all in the last 4 months. And I was bitterly disappointed with that game. They might be able to save it if they, you know, release the rest of the actual fucking game, but yeah, it's just one of those. But yeah, Marissa, if there's anything else you need to know or want to ask, we can have a elite tier debate. Two big brains of the game colliding to make a kaleidoscope of knowledge. The snaking one is you just have to like you have to have a completely different approach, because when you're doing, say, the bumper strat that you're doing, and like I usually do in lap one, you're more about angled this way kind of, but you're really wanting to push to angle this way, like be angled more this way after the first bumper. So like you hit this bumper and then you're like sort of almost Sasha drifting really, not maybe not quite, but you're really angling to go this way more. Quite aggressive angling, and then you're really fighting hard to let the next RMT pull you that way onto the bumper. So once you get it, it clicks. It's like the slip drifts after the 270 on a zero trimmer. Once you get it, it works, but it's funny. It's weird. It's just one of those things, though. Um, yeah. If you're struggling, one thing you can do is like, if I look at your release timing on the bumper, you can hold it a fraction longer and just about get the same benefit, but it's often what I like to call a bit more stable. You're much less likely to get a funny or awkward bounce. That being said, if you're doing the bumper strat that you're doing here, getting a bounce after the first bumper hit is actually sometimes good, believe it or not. I've often had some of my best times with it. So just make sure you're holding the D-pad direction somewhere when you're doing it. Otherwise, you get the spin landing on the bounce and you ruin the run. You didn't want that. But yeah, um, that's